He'll have some opinions about what went on in Dallas, but we start with the big game of the weekend. It was almost like it was the 80s again. Lakers, Celtics. Tatum leads his team to win 111-101. He finished with 40, 12 and 8. Jaylen Brown with 31. Luka 34, 8 and 3. Now, LeBron did have the 22 points, the 14 rebounds, and his 9 assists. However, the story, unfortunately, in this one is that he did have to leave the fourth quarter with a groin injury. Shams, shout out, is expecting him to be reevaluated 1 to 2 weeks, maybe. Second in the West right now. They look amazing. And I'm wondering, Chandler, what do they look like without him, at least for the next week or two?
It obviously hurts when you take a LeBron James off any team. They're going to be worse. But I think this is a perfect time. And I think this is great long term for the rest of the season for Luka to get his rhythm, for him to get going. Obviously, we know he missed some time before he got traded. Now he's coming. He's kind of trying to get his feet wet, trying to get everybody else involved. This is a great opportunity for him to fully have the keys, get his legs, get his kind of conditioning all in tip-top shape, kind of going down the stretch of the season. So honestly, I think it might work to their favor. You still have guys like Austin Reeves that can go get you a bucket and carry an offense. So they'll definitely be tested. I'm not saying they're better without LeBron James because that's not even close to the truth. But I think it long term might help them out that Luka can finally get these, couple weeks under his belt to play those big minutes, have even more usage rate, and continue to get his rhythm back.
What do you think, Lou?
Yeah, yep. I'm agreeing with Chandler. Only thing for me is I think they're going to go through the ringer. These next couple of weeks are going to be a challenge. And I've said that their roster is kind of paper thin for me. Like, they're really good with the guys that they have on the floor, but when you have to outsource and continue on with this schedule, where do you go from here? Do you give Cam Reddish an opportunity? Do you give Markieff Morris an opportunity to kind of fill in what's needed when you have a LeBron James go out of this lineup, especially when you don't have the depth that a lot of teams in the Western Conference do have? The first half of that schedule is kind of favorable for them, so I think they'll be fine there. Once you get into game five or six, as we just showed, it can get a little tricky for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I mentioned this last week. They're one injury away from being a really good team to going through some real turbulence right here. So we'll see how they survive this, how they keep going. But I agree with Chandler. This is a great opportunity for Luka to show and prove who he is to the Laker Nation.
I mean, Chandler, look, they play the Nuggets twice in that little stretch there. I think the worst case is what? They switch spots with Denver during the time that LeBron's out. That seems like it's going to flip-flop.
Yeah, and it's so close between, honestly, 2 through 5. You can look at the standings here. It's all pretty jumbled up there, but I think if they can get out 500 or a game above 500 this stretch, it's also good that there are 3 back-to-backs and that their 40-year-old LeBron James does not have to play in. So again, I see light at the end of the tunnel here. I think this is a great opportunity that LeBron's going to get the proper rest that he clearly needs. Luka's going to get the reps that he clearly needs. And again, we're talking about the Lakers they're in the 2 seed right now. This season has already been kind of unexpected. They've gotten so much better. They're now defending at a high level. So I think this is a great opportunity to see what these guys are made of without LeBron James on the floor.
The Lakers, like without LeBron, they did cut a 20-point deficit out. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this, because the Celtics MO has sort of been get up big and then either win or end up losing after being up double digits. So when you see the Lakers without LeBron on the floor be able to come back the way they did, Lou, and we're talking about them like contenders now, what does that do as far as your contender hopes for the Lakers? The fact that they can get out of that.
Yeah, like they've shown they're a competitive team and they're going to compete with the best of the best from the Western Conference to the Eastern Conference. They've shown you that, but can they finish? Even though they cut that lead down, they were still down a dub, right? And so still being down, still putting themselves in a position, it's still not enough, especially at this point in the season. We're in the fourth quarter of the year where everybody is pretty much figuring out where they're going to be in the standings, where they're going to be with seeding and where they're going. So this is a bad time to have this injury, but it's again, you can have some optimism about the things that they were able to do against Boston, but they didn't finish the job. That's going to be the concern.
And I guess you can look at this and kind of look, we can play good without LeBron James because they did claw and they did fight back in that game. And that third quarter was ugly. I think they scored 13 points and they had 6 or 7 turnovers, shooting like 20% from the field. That can't happen for that 12-minute stretch. So you can blame that, on whatever you want. But that's when Luka's got to take control. Austin Reeves got to get control. They got to slow it down a little bit. They got to get to the free throw line. They got to not turn the ball over and get back in transition defense, because that's where they kind of got exposed during this game. They did bounce back. They had a great, I think they scored 13 in the third and then 34 or something in the fourth. So they made it a game. They continued to fight and show resilience. But I think this is a great test for them going into the playoffs, looking at home court advantage of what they can do without LeBron James. Because again, we talk about his age. We don't know how long this guy's going to be around, hopefully for a lot more time. But this is a great chance for everyone on that roster to step up and like Lou said, show Laker Nation what they got.
This is a Al Horford appreciation show, and it's about that time of year where we start to ramp it up. The